So today I'm talking about entrepreneurship and holidays, and when it's quite difficult combining the two, and what impact it has on the entrepreneur, and also what impact it has on the entrepreneur's family. So if that's relevant to you, keep on watching, keep on listening. Welcome back to consecutive day 1613 of a diary of a Runpreneur. If you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, then do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. The more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always, and let's get started. So, consecutive day 1613 of a diary of a Runpreneur, and greetings from Melilla in Malta, where I'm on my October half-term vacation with my family. And today's topic is all about entrepreneurship and holidays, combining the two and the impact it has on the entrepreneur and the impact it has on the entrepreneur's family. So the reason for this episode is that I'm pretty, in terms of entrepreneurship, I'm very systemized, I'm very outsourced, I'm very much a management by numbers type of entrepreneur. So in my different companies, I have lots of systems and processes, lots of automations, lots of people that I delegate to, and as a result, my day-to-day involvement is pretty minimal in my group of companies. However, the role of an entrepreneur is solving problems, and that doesn't mean that problems don't materialize whilst I'm away. And due to being the kind of business owner or owners of the group, inevitably I occasionally get disrupted when I'm not actively working, i.e. on holiday. And there's been a few situations that have occurred whilst we've been here in Malta, and I normally kind of shrug it off as it's just part of entrepreneurship. One of my business mentors, Rob Moore, he's a very switched on property entrepreneur, but also specialises in money predominantly. He's an expert in wealth and wealth preservation and wealth growth, and he says that you should merge your passion with your profession, because entrepreneurship and your life has to be one of a kind. You can't, it's very difficult to segregate the two. And I often thought, no, it's good to get work-life balance and all that side of things, which was my kind of go-to statement. But in actual fact, what he says is true. When you start growing successful businesses, ultimately there will be things that happen, no matter how much delegation and outsourcing and systems, processes, data reports that you have in place, there will be things that require your input or the input of the entrepreneur. And there's been quite a few things happen since I've been away. I've spent, I've had several phone calls, so to speak, and I've regularly been sending voice notes or WhatsApp messages or the like since I've been away. And I think the problem I find is that on occasions it affects my mood. I think when we're talking about mood, when stuff goes wrong, sometimes you could be having fun 1 minute with your family, the next thing something goes wrong in the business that you'll then have to drop everything and try and find a solution or help out with, and then your demeanour drops. And the struggle that I've always had is when my demeanour does drop, is lifting it back up again and not having an effect on my family. Now, the flip side of this is, due to my world in entrepreneurship, is that we get to go on probably more holidays than most, and it's something that I'm incredibly proud to be able to do. I think we usually average somewhere in the region of a holiday maybe every couple of months. It's usually, or certainly every 3 months, so we probably get sometimes more than that in terms of breaks and time away with the family, and it's really, really important to me and my morals and values. But the downside is like I say, you don't always get to switch off entirely. So I'm running with my eldest son, Leo, here today, and I'm just going to ask him, and I want him to be completely honest. There's no loaded opinions here. He didn't even know what the topic was that we were talking about today before we started this episode. So he obviously been listening to the intro and my comments. So Leo, you must notice when we're away on holiday that I spend quite a lot of time sometimes on the phone or messaging or doing work-related activities. Would that be a fair comment? Do you notice that, or do you not really notice? Just be honest, completely honest. You do notice it, okay. And how does it make you feel when you see this kind of panning out?
I mean, it's not tragic or anything, because I know that I've got the whole time here with you, so, but sometimes it does make me feel like you're missing out a bit.
Okay, no, that's really valid. So Leo thinks that he doesn't mind, because he knows it's kind of what I do, but he feels that I'm often missing out on things. And the next question, I suppose, do you notice my mood changes quite a lot, or not?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
I hadn't noticed it as much until we started talking about it here now.
Okay, so
Just a little bit.
he notices my mood changes a little bit, but he says he hasn't noticed hugely since we've been talking about it. So that's quite interesting. We're just going to have to go around here, Leo. 1 second. So that's quite interesting to hear, because I've felt that it's definitely something that's probably quite obvious. I think if we spoke to my wife, I think she'd definitely notice it. But and do you understand? What do you think the reasons are why I need to be making these calls and things? What's your understanding? We'll just get past these people, Leo, and then you can ask their question. We're just running in quite a pedestrianised area, so we can't really run two abreast here until we get around this corner. Here we go. So yeah, back to the question here. What was the question? I've completely forgotten. No, it was asking you about understanding why it happens.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your opinion? What do you think is happening when that's kind of going off? Just slow down, mate, so we can see.
I just think that you've got something to deal with at work or something. Like some little issues come up or something. You just have to quickly deal with, and then you can carry on.
Okay, so his understanding is that dog up there anyway, is that there's something like at work that I need to deal with, which is pretty much correct. It's interesting hearing the views from a 13-year-old's point of view. And what does it make you think of your overarching opinion of entrepreneurship?
I mean, obviously, I don't think you have to do like you don't have to be as involved sometimes as other jobs. But whereas like other jobs,
Slow down.
like you'd again like have to do those sort of phone calls and stuff. So I just see it as sort of a normal thing to do if you're working or a business owner or anything like that.
Okay, now that's quite interesting, because Leo says that he thinks that that's part of being an entrepreneur, which is true in many respects. But he thinks that because I don't have to, I get the flexibility, and my working environment is different, and he thinks that I don't necessarily have to work as hard in my job. And that's really interesting. So that to me suggests that Leo has only really seen the better sides of entrepreneurship, I think, which would be very fair to say, because I think when Leo was really a baby or growing up, we were struggling quite a lot in just get past these people 1 second. We were struggling a lot in our family and in our financial situation, in the early stages of the startups of the businesses. It was a massive struggle, and I would often work away for days on end. I'd be doing incredibly long hours, hustling, working as hard as I could to get everything up and running. And it's only really been the past 3 or 4 years, really, maybe 4 to 5 years, that we've been able to enjoy the fruits of all that hard work and hustle. But interesting, because Leo didn't see that. His experience and expectation on entrepreneurship is very different. And it's just an interesting concept to kind of understand. So I'm going to wrap it up there, because we're about to start quite a significant amount of uphill, isn't it? Leo's been running with me most days, and the route that we run is downhill for the first couple of kilometres, pretty flat, for the kind of middle 3 kilometres and then completely uphill in the last couple. So we're coming up to that uphill now, so we won't be talking as much. But yeah, I think the learnings from my diary today are that through the eyes of my children, who Leo's probably speaking on behalf of as well, that you know, the distractions that I get in my current world of entrepreneurship are relatively minimal and not hugely noticed. I think if I asked my wife, I think we'd get a very different response. But from the children's point of view, they haven't really noticed. I think they just kind of think that this is what dad does, this is dad's world, and this is part of his life. And that wouldn't be untrue. But interestingly as well, that Leo's comments were a little bit in line of thinking that entrepreneurship is possibly easier than other jobs. And I think I completely agree with him. If you build established businesses and you've systemized them and all of that, you know, you then start getting the fruits of the hard work and effort. But entrepreneurship is probably one of the hardest things you can possibly do, in my opinion. And it's always in the early stages where that kind of graft, that hustle, that work effort is just exponentially greater than what you get in a typical job. And a lot of people do that graft and still don't ever make it in the world of entrepreneurship. So, and I'm not saying I have made it in any way, shape or form, but I feel that I've been on a good trajectory over the past kind of 4 to 5 years, of which Leo and my children have been able to kind of benefit from. So that's really, really interesting. And I think the learnings from my diary is sometimes when you feel things yourself in life, whether it's in the world of work, entrepreneurship, whether it's personal stuff, ask your kids what they think. I think it's a really kind of cool thing to do, and I think you might be quite surprised by the answers you get. I've certainly been surprised by answers that Leo's given me today, in a good way. But it's certainly opened my eyes to certain things that I need to be aware of. So that's it for me today. Questions or comments, drop me a line. I'll respond to everyone. But do remember, if you believe in my mission on the pathways, if you do believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon, of run blogging on consecutive days of distance from the lap of the world, barefoot style, to do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. As the more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy. I'll see you again tomorrow. Say bye, Leo.
Bye.